Welcome to the channel, Brad Takes Flight, where we're taking off and soaring to our sky-high dreams. If you're new to the channel, I'm Brad. I'm at a Part 141 school, Blue Line Aviation in Smithfield, North Carolina. So far, as a part of my journey, I've already completed my private pilot's license, my instrument rating, as well as my commercial license. And after finally mastering those skills, I'm now moving on to CFI. And for all of my returning viewers, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. As I said, this week I'm working on my CFI course. It is a massive undertaking, and actually the last couple of weeks I've been sitting around working on a lot of lesson plans as I'm getting prepared to actually take the course itself officially. So the way they work it here at Blue Line is they have kind of set classes that you go through with a group of people. You're going to work on your presentations and how you actually deliver all the material that you'll have to deliver during your CFI check ride. This allows you the opportunity to see other people's presentations, to kind of get some tips and tricks, to get feedback from them as you're creating your own, make those little tweaks so that way hopefully you can accelerate your own process and really perfect your style when you're going to present this material. Today was day one of the CFI class. Went through all of Area 1 in the ACS. If you're not familiar with the ACS, you need to go to the FFA.gov website, look up ACS for whichever license you're looking at. For this one in particular, obviously it's the CFI, and you'll see all of Area 1 and what it covers. For the most part, all of Area 1 is fundamentals of instruction. So we got through all of Area 1 today. We've started into Area 2. We've covered the first couple of tasks, which include aeromedical factors as well as runway incursions. Still piecing together some of these lesson plans. I've got the majority of them done. We also had a 28-page quiz that we had to get done as well that was extremely long. It just took a minute to get through and was really a large task in and of itself, especially when you're combining that with the fact that you're creating all these lesson plans. The nice piece is they do give you some outlines for both Area 1 and Area 2. You've got to kind of complete your own for Area 3, which is just basically your pilot qualifications, your airplane's airworthiness, as well as weather. Area 4 is all about the maneuvers, like you teaching them on ground before you actually get up into the air and teach them to a student. So for the most part, I've gotten all these done at this point. I've created all my PowerPoints. It's been a crazy undertaking. And if you didn't know, I am a past educator. I was a teacher and coach for next to 10 years. So I've got a lot of background in doing that kind of stuff. However, it still took me a long time to piece it together, everything, and I'm still working on it and tweaking it as I go. Tomorrow is going to be more of the same. We're going to get through the rest of Area 2. Fingers crossed we get through most of Area 2. It is going to be a big one as we're going through systems. As a part of that, your systems includes everything that deals with the aircraft. It's pretty intense. That one's going to be a big undertaking. Tonight for some homework, I need to read Chapter 7 of the Aviator's Instructor's Handbook. So I'm going to take some time to be able to work on that tonight, as well as brush up on a few more things, especially when it comes to my maneuver lessons. I want to add in some new aerodynamic factors for students to consider whenever they're doing these maneuvers. I'm going to get to work on that, and I'll catch you guys in the morning. It is Tuesday morning at Blue Line Aviation. I'm ready for day 2 of my CFI classes. Last night, read up on Chapter 7 of the Aviation Instructor's Handbook, which contains a lot of information about lesson planning. So I was interested to see kind of how the FAA does it compared to the other places that I've taught at as a high school instructor. Seems like basically the framework of have an objection, put through the body with activities, and then have some kind of conclusion wrap up. It's the same, so it was good to see that the FAA at least knows the structure of how to put lesson plans together. I say that jokingly, but it is always good to see that the information that you've used before is going to be relevant on your new task. Today we're going to continue to push through Area 2. I don't know if we'll get through all of Area 2 in the CFI ACS today, but we will have an opportunity to see many more presentations as well as probably working on a bit of our lesson plans ourselves. It is a pretty nasty day as there is a hurricane southwest that is pushing north and coming our way. The rest of the week is looking like it's going to be pretty gross, maybe into the weekend. We'll have to see kind of what's going to happen with this storm. However, my first flight wasn't supposed to be until Thursday, so I don't think it's going to really affect mine a whole lot. I may miss one flight. We'll see if I can't get that rescheduled, maybe get a 2-flight day in. We'll just have to see kind of how the scheduling and planning of everything goes. It'll also give us some extra time to do some presentations. We have to do about 15 to 20 different presentations before we're really ready to go in for our check ride, and those need to be super solid. So it gives us plenty of time to work through all those things, and I'll give you a recap as soon as I finish everything up. It continues to be a gross, nasty weather situation up here, but that really doesn't affect the classroom too much. Got done with a lot of Area 2 today. I tell you what, man, I got there at like 7:30. It's now 5 o'clock. We didn't start until a little after 8. And honestly, it's not too bad. The most draining part is probably just covering all these different areas. So if you were just sitting around talking just aerodynamics all day, it's probably a little bit different than talking aerodynamics and then talking about aeromedical factors and then talking about chart symbology and then talking about operations and certifications and just like bouncing kind of all over the place as you're going through all the different requirements and things that you're going to have to present as a CFI candidate. That constant moving from subject to subject is just the switching of gears. It breaks up some of the monotony, but at the same time, it does really challenge your focus and accessing those different parts of your brain as you're trying to jump from subject to subject. Tomorrow is supposed to be the last day of instructor-led presentations. So after that, it'll be more of the cadets. As we are trying to get ourselves ready. We should have gone through basically all of Area 1, Area 2, and Area 3, probably a maneuver lesson as well, I think. And then it's going to be just us as those CFI applicants getting up there and running through all of our stuff. So starting to present our Area 1, 2, 3, and our maneuvers for lessons 4. Really hoping that the weather will push off by this weekend. It'd be great to get up. Was just looking at my flight hours and I have none in the last week and I've only had about 10 in the last month. So really ready to get some flying in whenever it is time. We also have spin training that's going to be a part of this, so that'll be super awesome. Hope I can get some footage of that for you guys. I'm trying to work that out with Blue Line right now, fingers crossed. So hopefully that's coming down the pipeline as well. I am gonna go home, eat a little bit of dinner, and continue to work on these presentations. I may even go over and present to a few other CFI candidates today. We'll see how all that works out, and I'll catch up with you guys in the morning. Wednesday morning here at Blue Line at 7:15. Class is gonna start at 8 o'clock. Wanted to give myself a little bit of time. I want to go through the ACS, pull over a few more things into my presentations and just make sure everything is correlating and I've got all the information in my presentations that I need to. Today we are going to finish up some pretty big ones in Area 2, including cross-country planning and endorsements. Those are two pretty intense ones, and the endorsement one is actually a mandatory presentation that you present to your DPE during your check ride. Again, it's a pretty nasty day out with all the weather that's coming through our area. I am hopeful that by the weekend all of this stuff will kind of push off, but not really sure. The forecast is really kind of mixed. It may be through the weekend and next week, honestly, before we're actually able to get up and fly in the right seat a bit. It's gonna take some getting used to. Last week I was able to get one flight in the right seat. However, I need to get plenty more if I'm going to be doing my check ride next week for CFI. I'm going to run in so I can go ahead and get to work, get these presentations done, listen to a few more, make some final touches. I'll let you guys know how everything goes at the end of the day. Got done with all of today's ground lessons, and the ceilings never got really that high. I don't think I saw anybody take off today, so it was a perfect day to get a lot of grounds done. We worked all the way through the rest of Area 2. We also got through cross-country planning as well as endorsements, and those two tasks are pretty beefy, so it takes a while to kind of work your way all the way through those. Also got done with Area 3, went through some maneuvers, didn't go through all of our maneuvers, but went through some maneuvers and just how to kind of present those. Really excited that tomorrow we actually get to start presenting. I think there are 3 different instructors and there's 3 students, so I think we're going to get like one-on-one kind of work that we'll be able to, you know, kind of constantly present and get through these things as fast as possible is what I'm hoping for. We may still end up grouped up together, but Tomorrow's weather looks like more the same from today, so I really doubt anybody's going to have the opportunity to fly tomorrow. So if there's that many instructors sitting around, I'd love to be able to just get one-on-one, just to be able to speed run through, do one and then the next and the next and the next, and just constantly get feedback, and then maybe switch instructors so that way you get different eyes and feedback. We'll see how it goes. That's going to be my suggestion as we're going through it. And then once we get towards the end and everybody's presented for, a day or two, maybe at that point we should be flying again and we can start presenting in front of each other and should have a fairly polished product at that point if everybody stays on task. So we'll see how it all works out. I'm going to go home. I've got Area 2, Task Charlie, runway incursions that I'm going to start with my presentations tomorrow. So I'm going to run through that, make sure that that one is especially all polished up, especially since it's a mandatory task. Like, that is one that I will definitely have to present. So I'm going to make sure that that's just as tight as I can possibly get it. I'll catch you guys. It is Thursday morning here at Blue Line. It is 7:30 a.m. We're supposed to start at 8 a.m. So any minute now, we'll go ahead and get things cracking on these presentations. The airport is actually closed. It's no doubt until 10 a.m. I think that's due to the weather. We finally have like the big pieces of the tropical storm kind of hanging up over our head. I was scheduled for a 7 a.m. right seat flight today. Obviously, I reached out to the instructor and just said, hey, we're notamed out until 10 a.m., so no reason to even try and do that flight. We'll just plan on presentations, and they were all for it. Glad to actually be doing some of the presenting today. Just sitting in the classroom for the last 3 days in the same room from 8 to 5 is, it'll wear on you for sure, and then going home and working on that same material has just been difficult. So I'm hoping to get up in the air a little bit this weekend. We'll see how the weather plays out. It does look like things are going to linger into tomorrow. Maybe even into the weekend. I'm hoping that, once you get out past about 24 hours, the forecast can really get sketchy and inaccurate as much as we try and do it. I'm going to get to the presentations. I'll let you guys know how it all goes as soon as I wrap it up. All wrapped up. It is 5 p.m. Today was pretty nasty day up until I'd say maybe about 3 o'clock. So we'll see how things pan out tomorrow. I do have an 8 a.m. flight scheduled right now. They've booked us up through the weekend. We're still trying to make it on track to be able to check on Wednesday for my check ride. We'll see if I'm able to get all that done. The nice part about being down today is I was able to get through 9 of my different presentations. So inside of this, inside of our ACS here, we probably have about 40 different things that we could present a presentation on. I think I've got 45 presentations that I've already built out. So to be able to get through 9 of them today is a really good start. I was able to, get checked off and shown like, yeah, you're ready to go on a check ride on those tasks. On about half of them, the other half I need to do some polish up on. Nothing big really, it's just a few more things that I can add in so that way I can represent these a little bit and see how it goes. Really happy with the way everything went. The big challenge I think going forward is going to be getting back into the right seat and getting my wings back under me again per se. It's been probably, 2 weeks since I've really had a flight. And then the 2 weeks before that were all basically like checks and retrains and things like that. So it's been a good solid month almost, it feels like, since I've really been up in the plane doing a lot of different maneuvers. I did have one right seat intro flight, so I may be a little over dramatic with that, but it just feels like it's been a really long time since I've done a lot of like the maneuver type flights that are going to be required of me during the check ride. I'm going to get home, make some of my adjustments, do some little tweaks to my presentations, see how they kind of pan out. I'll have to catch up with you guys in the morning. Friday morning, it's about 7:30. Class is going to start at 8. I did have a flight scheduled for 8 a.m. However, right now the METAR is reading overcast at 1100. So ceilings need to be at about 1700 for us to be able to get out here and do some laps. I wouldn't even really want to just get up and do laps today. I feel like time's going to be better served just doing more and more presentations. So I've got 9 already done. I've got probably, 20 more that I need to do, plus some repeats on ones that I already presented. So I've got lots of presentations to get to, and that's going to be the plan for the day. I'll let you guys know how all that works out as soon as I wrap them all up. All wrapped up for the day. I was able to complete a few more of my presentations. I got through the bulk of them, I think. I still have probably a handful more that I still needed to do. The weather, if you can't tell, has cleared up a whole bunch. Super excited about that. I saw some people finally flying this afternoon. It's just been such a long time since we've been able to get up. Tomorrow I have a flight scheduled for 9 a.m. It looks like the weather is going to be cleared. Everybody cross their fingers, say a little prayer. We'll see how that works out for me. I'm going to go home, continue to brush up. I've got a few notes from today's presentations that I'm going to continue to change, add on to what I'm doing. Can't wait to get started tomorrow. See you guys then. Saturday morning here at Blue Line. It is 8 a.m. Some really interesting weather this morning. It looks like we had some low-level fog that may be lifting. I can't really tell if there's any like overcast or broken clouds above it. Kind of hard to judge right now. Not sure if it's all going to dissipate by 9 a.m. We'll just kind of have to see how that plays out. If that dissipates out, then I'll be able to get up in the right seat and be able to do a flight today, which would be really great. It's been like 2 weeks since I've flown, so I'd love to get back up in the air again. If I'm not able to get a flight in, then I'll definitely get some presentations done, and then I'm going to go home, see the fam real quick, spend the night down there, and then I'll turn around and come back Sunday morning for a flight at 10:15. It's the current plans. We'll see how it all plays out. I'll let you know once I wrap it up. Finally got back up in an airplane. Man, does that feel good. Went out to Raleigh Exec. We had to file here, and then we flew over to Raleigh Exec, and we did all of our work over there because the skies were clear there. So the ceilings were kind of borderline, but everything is moved out now. It's turning into a beautiful day. Hopefully everybody else will get their flights in as well. Really interesting to be in that right seat doing steep turns. We did a Chandelles, some emergency descents, did some takeoff and landings, working on those, mostly normal, did a soft field takeoff, tried to do a power off 180, and man, like my sight picture is just so different being in that left versus the right seat. Really need to extend that out a little bit, like even slipping it, we just came out a little bit long. So definitely have some work to do, and just honestly changing the views that you've been seeing from the left and now applying that to the right and kind of understanding where you are in the air now with this different sight picture, right? It's just a different view. Felt really good. Kind of talking through all my maneuvers and things like that is getting better, obviously. That very first maneuver, it's been like a month since I've really flown. So the first maneuver, I was just like focused in on trying to do the maneuver and I didn't say a word. CFIs, you're obviously instructing as you're going through, so that was a big difference. For our weekly wrap up, I was able to get in today's flight, so 2.2 hours of actual flight. We also got in a 0.2 of actual on the way over, canceled our IFR as we got there, and we're able to do our maneuvers and landings and all that kind of stuff, and didn't need to file one on the way back, so that was nice. Was able to get through a bunch of my presentations. I think I did probably 13 or 14 different presentations, so that's really good. Want to continue to do those as I get ready for my check ride that's supposed to be next week, but the heat's really picking up. We're going to have those afternoon thunderstorms. See if that actually happens on time. I think right now I've been scheduled for a Thursday check ride, which would be really, really fast. So I'm hoping that we actually do have some of those things pushed off, give me a little bit more time in the air to kind of get things done and really feel comfortable with where I'm at on my takeoff and landings, and make sure that I'm feeling really comfortable in the right seat. So now I'm over 150 hours officially for my total time, which feels absolutely wonderful. Going to continue to push forward as we're getting deeper into that CFI next week. Should be able to get some action in that right seat more and more next week as I'm wrapping up the amount of presentations that I need to do. I shouldn't have that many left once I get started, so excited for what next week's hold. If you haven't already, like this video and leave me a comment. If you're a CFI, what was the most challenging things that you went through as you were training to get your CFI certification? As always, you can click right here to subscribe. You can click here for the next video in our series, or you can click right here for the entire playlist of everything at Blue Line. Appreciate you guys watching, and as always, keep the grass off your wingtips, aviators.